How we doing? All right, this one might hit home for a little bit, a few of you. I don't know. Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. Either way, I want to talk about it because it's come up a lot. And that is this feeling of desperation, this feeling of lack that we are seeing or feeling in the online space. Maybe at time of recording, we're in like the middle of Q1. And there seems to be this kind of this overarching feeling of desperation in the online space, of the constant sales push, the sign up for this offer, when are you ready to make a decision, this constant follow-up, how are we doing, how where are you at, is there something I need, like it's this little bit of, and it comes across like desperate, right? Like, and I've had a couple clients who are feeling this way, who are feeling like, Michelle, I haven't made a sale, this in this many weeks, like I'm starting to feel desperate, like I need this to come through. And I want to talk about it, okay? Because that feeling of desperation is not beneficial for anybody, okay? You have got to get to a place, and do not get me wrong, I've been there, but I'm going to talk about that too, all right? You have got to get into a place where you are just in this forward momentum. You're just constantly moving forward, and you are not attached to the outcome of every single call, every single proposal, every single conversation, every single dollar in your business, okay? But that takes time. That takes time to get there, okay? Right now, in this moment, I have 4 very large open proposals out there, okay? I have not followed up. I have not reached back out. And I'm not saying you shouldn't follow up, and I'm not saying you shouldn't reach back out, but I've also just been busy doing other things. I did get, one of the clients came in, I signed a new client. I've got the alliance growing. I'm working on that. And so, but I also have clients on retainer. So I have a steady income because I believe in that. I know a lot of you in that project base, this is where that project base comes in, like the when I say project base, I mean like those one-off projects, the VIP day model, the long-term, like the 6-week project, something of that sort. Like that project base can become where it's like everything you do, you need that next client, right? Because your income relies on those one-offs, where in the retainer or membership or that style, you have that solid foundation. Like I know every single month, I mean, obviously somebody doesn't pay, you can't guarantee that, but in, in reality, I have 6 clients on retainer that gives me this guaranteed income, which means I can pay my bills, blah, 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 right? Like that's why I am a huge fan of building your retainer base, especially in the beginning. I mean, I'm 5 years in, I will never stop having retainer clients because again, I don't like to be in that feeling of client acquisition. I don't like to feel like, where's my next paycheck coming from? It's like, where's that next fix, right? And obviously, as you grow and as you get busier, like you get booked out 2-3 months on those projects, you don't have those feelings either. But in that initial moment, or maybe you're only 2 years in, and that is the key here. This is the key takeaway, is that if you are feeling that way, a lot of it is because you're still too new in business, or even if you're 3 years in business, you know what I mean? Like the turning point is 3 to 4 years. Like it takes time to build up brand awareness. It takes time to build up brand authority. That's not to say some people don't hit it off, and make it in the first year. I'm not saying that, but I want you to also understand that, like, I'm at that point where I just said to you, I have 4 proposals open and I'm not really worried about them, that I know they'll come in when the time is right, because they've, in the conversations I had with them, they told me I'm not making a decision until 4th quarter, blah, 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 blah. Like I know those things, but also I'm in a place where I don't have to have that, right? But if you've been following me or you listen to anything that I do, you know that for the first 4 years, I had another job on the side, because again, you've got to find a way to get out of that feeling of desperation. You've got to get out of that way of feeling from a place of lack. You've got to find a way to detach from that outcome. So if you have savings, if you can get people on retainer, if you have another income source that you can rely on, but you have to find a way. You do not want to be part of the online space that is in that desperation, in that, hey, did you make a decision yet? Hey, I'm just wondering if you wanted to get started. Hey, da da da. You know what I mean? You want to be in that place of, when you're ready, I'll be here. When you're ready, I'll be here. Because there's also, like, when people don't feel that, like when you just say, when you're ready, I'll be here. I'll be happy to follow up with you, but when you're ready to start, I will be here. And if I still have an opening for you, that's great. That in a sense takes that pressure off of the client too, right? Because now they're like, oh wait, like, I don't have a lot of time to make a decision because she's just moving on, right? Like when you're in this constant forward motion and people see you just continuing to move on, you're continuing to have calls, you're continuing to send those proposals, people also understand, like, I don't have time to be sitting around here screwing around deciding whether or not I want to do business with this woman or not. Like I gotta get my shit together. I gotta make a decision. And when they see you moving on, they also see a different level of professionalism. They see a different level of quote unquote success. People want to see that you're just moving on, because the second they feel like you're desperate for the sale, that's when they start negotiating. That's when they start being a pain in the ass. And so just even if in your own world, like, hey, I really wish I could land this client, or hey, I really need this to pay my bills. Like for whatever reason, you do not want that person on the other end of the phone to ever sense that. You want to just always be in the, here's what it is, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's how we can work together. If it's a good fit, great. If it's not, that's okay too. But you let me know when you're ready. And if I have an opening available, I'll be happy to get you in, right? Like just keep that forward momentum. That will help with that place of lack. That will help with that sense of desperation. And you will also just keep moving forward because you're focused on forward motion. You're not focused on going backwards. You're not focused on any of that. You're just moving forward. You're constantly moving. You're constantly having conversation. You're constantly sending proposals. You're doing your thing. And then all of a sudden it just all comes together. I can promise you, so really get good at that. Like try really, really, really hard, because the second you can just release the pressure, all of a sudden everything starts coming in. It just happens. It does. I've seen it time and time again. And sometimes it takes a little longer. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you've got to go get a part-time job or deliver Uber Eats or do DoorDash, or I was a nanny, or do some kind of online thing where you can make a little bit of extra cash, like don't feel bad about it, because in all honesty, to me, that is doing the responsible thing to actually grow a sustainable business, because that means that you are willing to do what it takes to build and get where you need to go without having to be in that place of chasing money, chasing those PITA clients, chasing that desperation. It all just works, okay? I can promise you that. But if you're feeling it, know that like there is that feeling right now. And I think Q1 started, I'm recording this in Q1, and I think Q1 of 2022 started out slow. And here's what I think, this is just my observation, is that a lot of people got burnt out at the end of 2021 and they took December off. A lot of people don't normally take December off, or they take, they start to come back into the game like that week between Christmas and New Year's. And a lot of people completely shut down. They took all that time off, right? So then January came and then they were like, okay, I got to get back into it. You also had this surge in Omicron, which took a lot of people out. Whether they were sick or if they just had kids at home because their kid tested positive or there was an exposure. And so that throws schedules off. And like there was this huge influx of that, right? And so we've been sick and different things. And so it's just taking a little bit longer for the year to get started. All right. And so that's why I think there's that sense of that lack. It's just because people are in this, like, it's just off to a slower start. It just is. Right. And so it's feeling desperate, but it's not. It's just that things are just moving a little bit slower. So don't fall into that desperation. All right. Because it's not going to gain you anything. It's not going to gain you anything at all. All right. I'll talk to you soon.